I hope you enjoy this video because this is my third time making it. I guess technically second because the first time I recorded and messed up. The second time I did it all right and wasn't recording actually, so haha. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look here real quick. So on these buttons, I want you to take a look real quick at the button script on here. Let me cinch that up. And you can see that my number here got turned into 29 because that's the for that one. But for button number 2, it says 27, 33, and 4. Now yours will probably say 0 because like I said, I just did all that, and yours looks like this right now. Okay? So when you push play, yours are gonna all say 0. My code was in there. Like I said, I did this tutorial a couple of times and I added that code off screen. And so look, okay, so the wrong answers still say 0 because the answer is 17, right? So that one gets changed, but why don't any of the correct answers? Each button has a thing called my number on it, okay? And I'm gonna address that in a second. Another thing, make sure your game object is called scripts, spelled exactly like this, with the math level 1 component on there. That'll come up in a minute as to why. Okay, so now, why isn't my number showing up in those little slots? Now, my number is this public integer. Anything up here that you make public, you can see it in the Unity inspector. And when we get this function called write correct integer, we set my number, we change it. We change it to correct answer. That correct answer comes from the math level script. In the wrong answer, we don't ever tell my number what to be. We're gonna do that now. I made a mistake and put it right after this line one time, and you just need to know, I don't wanna go into explaining fully how that's wrong. Maybe you could figure it out, but just know that the code reads from top down. So where and when you place lines of code actually matters. So I'm gonna push Command V. I typed my number equals wrong answer. So in this function here, we develop a wrong answer and then we fix it. And then now we're saying my number for my button is now this one's the wrong answer. The correct button will get their number switched to the correct answer. Okay, now, okay, so let's try to submit our my number answer to the game and see if we get things right or wrong. Okay, so in math level 1, we're gonna need to write a function that actually accepts and grades our answer. So let's just do something like this. Go public void, and we're gonna write a function. We're gonna keep it simple, call it grade answer. Okay, now we're gonna pass into it an integer from the buttons, and this is a variable name here. I'm just gonna call it answer integer. And then inside here, we're gonna write if the answer integer is equal to the correct answer, and this correct answer, we built it in this math level 1. So this file knows what the correct answer is. And so it says if the answer is equal to the correct answer, well then let's do something. Right now we're just gonna say debug.log, and in that console where it tells you, when you got had errors and stuff, you're just gonna say correct. Make sure you put the semicolon. Now conversely, we're gonna say if answer int is not equal to, and the way you could write not equal is you put an exclamation point and then the equal sign. So if it does not equal correct answer, we're gonna debug.log, we're just gonna say wrong, and you have to put that in quotes. Super extreme, I put 4 exclamation points. Another way to write this, by the way, is you could say if, and instead of writing this whole line, I could have just said else. And else would mean opposite of that, is if else. That's another way to code, and maybe I'll demonstrate that in a second. Okay, so right now that function, the grading functionality isn't gonna work or do anything until we actually submit it. And how are we gonna do that? Well, we need on our button a function to say submit the answer. So we're going to say public void, and we're making this name up, submit answer. I think that makes sense. And we are now going to, this is how you can grab that other game object with the name scripts on it. So we're going to say game object. This is just how Unity wrote their game engine. So they built this out. Game object.find, and you're going to find the game object called scripts. Then you put a period, and then you say get component. It's the component that's on that game object that you named scripts. And what component do we want? We want the math level 1 component that's on it, and then you put 2 parentheses and another period. And then you're going to call the function great answer, and remember it needs an integer in there. So we're going to send it my number. The button has a number called my number. So now we need to just wire this up. So the last step to do to wire it up is actually make this button clickable with that function. So select a button and open this up. It's a little bit of a tedious job here. You're going to hit the plus sign. You need to drag itself into there. And we're going to call the answer button script and the function called submit answer. Now we need to do that for each button. So you have to do this 4 times. Drag the button in there. Go answer button. Oops, answer button, submit answer. Now, you could write scripts in different ways. There's a lot of different ways that you could do this, and most people try to be as efficient as possible. So you want to think about that as you're developing and coding things, but sometimes there's just some things you can take a long way, like dragging these in. I guess you could probably write a code to do this too. Anyway, so let's see what happens. So we push, so each one of these is going to submit an answer, and then the math level 1 component on scripts will grade it. So 12 plus 20, we know what the correct answer is, right? 32. And what did I get wrong? Scripts, answer button, object. I've got an error here, and I'm getting errors on all of them. Let's see what the error is. So game object.find, oh, I didn't put the S. Okay, so for all of you people out there that get frustrated when you don't type 1 character and it breaks your whole game, don't feel bad. We all do it. So 17, correct answer. 21 wrong, 18 wrong, 21 wrong again. I got 2 of the same wrong answers. You could probably fix that later. Correct, wrong, wrong, wrong. Okay, now, some people, that code probably would say, hey, why'd you write it like this? You could have just wrote the word else instead of this. It really doesn't matter. You'll get the same results, but I just want to show you that you could say if-else statement. That's just an option if you like to code with if-else statements. Just another way of you to organize your code with your brain, if that helps you. It's just another option. You could write it that way instead of writing if. Okay, so that's going to equal 11. So this should be the wrong. This should debug wrong. Console log wrong, wrong, and correct. Okay, cool. All right, so go ahead and have fun creating those answers and grading them. Have fun.